Hey friends, I'm Shelly Shoosh. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a first trimester update, and actually today I'm 17 weeks pregnant, so I'm well into my second trimester. First trimester ended at 13 weeks, so it's been about 4 weeks now. And I'm gonna go back just because I wasn't sure if I was gonna do updates or not, but I asked on Instagram and people said they would like to see monthly updates. And since I just announced to everyone that I'm pregnant, I was just gonna start with a recap of the first trimester, and then starting 5th month of pregnancy, I will share monthly updates from then. So I have my notebook here with all my notes. I don't want to forget anything because even though it was only 4 weeks ago, it's still like hard to remember everything with mom brain. So let's get started. So I found out I was pregnant 10 days post ovulation, which would have been the day before I was supposed to get my period. If you saw my live pregnancy test video, then you'll know I checked because I had this weird headache and I was just really tired, and I figured that's what it must be. So I was about 4 weeks pregnant when I found out. Week 4 and 5 were really hard. I was exhausted. Luna was just about to turn 2, so it was like really hard to take care of a toddler while being just like extremely exhausted, like to the point where you just don't want to get out of bed. And then I was also like super hot all the time. I was just having hot flashes and just like my body temperature was just raised the whole time. It was very uncomfortable. That was about week 4 and week 5. Starting week 6 is when I started getting morning sickness. I will say this pregnancy is pretty much exactly the same as my last pregnancy with Luna. I started getting really nauseous on week 6. And I know lots of people have morning sickness and they just feel nauseous for the first 3 months or whatever. But for me, I'm like, I actually throw up. And I was actually throwing up like 2-3 times a day for probably 6-7 weeks, which is so hard, especially with a toddler. And again, it was exactly like my first pregnancy with Luna. Around this time, I also had lots of headaches along with the tiredness. And I also began getting that like congestion, that nasal congestion. It's like a thing when you're pregnant, you just have extra snot and it's just, I don't know, it's really uncomfortable. But also around this 6-week period is when I started getting like super hungry, but I just could not eat anything because literally every single time I would eat something, I would just throw it up immediately after. And I feel really bad doing that because then I feel like the baby's not getting any nutrition. Like that mom guilt starts from they're 4 or 5 weeks old in the womb. Along with the sickness, like I was not able to go into my kitchen at all. I could not do the dishes. Just the sight of my dishwasher would make me throw up. I couldn't see any like raw food. I didn't have a meat aversion like I did the first time. I could still eat it, but I just couldn't cook it. So I didn't cook for probably a good 6 or 7 weeks as well. And my poor husband, bless his heart, would come home from work, let me just go lie down and just spend the rest of the evening in bed, and he would literally do everything that I would usually do for like an entire day after his full day of work. He is the man. Also, I would have to message him every day to tell him what I was even able to like stomach the thought of eating. So he made lots of trips to the grocery store on the way home, knowing that there would not be dinner at home because I just could not get into my kitchen. Pretty much all I wanted to eat were like beige foods. That's the best way I can describe it. It was just beige foods because I was into like pot pies, mashed potatoes, pasta. Everything that I ate would give me like this really super sour taste on the back of my tongue, and that is what would cause me to throw up every time. So it didn't matter what I ate, it just like everything tasted acidic to me, and it would just make me sick all day. Morning sickness is like being hungover 24 hours a day. It's like the worst feeling ever. But then being hungover and actually throwing up as well is just double the worst thing ever. Also around maybe like 10 weeks, I started to get flare-ups in my wrist again. When I was pregnant with Luna, near the end of my pregnancy, I would say in my 3rd trimester, I developed carpal tunnel, which I never had before I got pregnant, and it also went away the day that I gave birth, like the second I gave birth. But I started noticing around week 10 this time that like my wrist would start going numb, my fingers would start, sorry guys, I am out of breath because there's a human inside of my belly. So yeah, I would start getting numbness in my fingers. It was beginning to be really uncomfortable for me to sleep. During the day when I would lift things, I would feel almost like a little bit of a pop in this part of my wrist here. So I started wearing the wrist guards, like the braces, when I slept, and after maybe 2 or 3 weeks, it calmed down quite a bit. So now that I'm 17 weeks, I can start feeling it again, and I'm gonna start wearing the braces to bed again. Hopefully that will like offset any horribleness that's to come in the end. So something that was making me extra sick on top of the morning sickness was my prenatals. And this also happened in my first pregnancy, but I didn't find out until probably about 6 months that that's what was making me like really, really sick. This time I was taking the Materna ones, and they were making me really, really sick for the first few weeks. But now that I know that it's probably the prenatal, I stopped taking the prenatal vitamin, but I continued to take folic acid and a fish oil and vitamin D just to keep up with the vitamins. But you need the folic acid in the first trimester, so I was taking folic acid on its own. The thing in the prenatals I think that makes me so sick is the iron, and I don't have like a problem with low iron or anything, so I know it's safe for me to not take it because my doctor told me it was fine with my last pregnancy. After I stopped taking the prenatals, I did notice that it would ease up a little bit. Instead of throwing up after like every single meal, I would throw up just like once or twice a day. I've had only maybe one major craving this entire time, and that has been like Reese's peanut butter cups and anything Reese's related actually, or peanut butter, but it can't be like natural peanut butter. I only want like the fake stuff, you know, like the Jif kind of peanut butter that like I would never buy usually, but that's what the baby wanted. Like I said before, I didn't have any aversions to meat this time, which was really good. I did have an aversion to coffee though for the entire first trimester, and that was pretty sad because coffee is like one of the things that I most look forward to every single day. It's just like brewing my Nespresso, sitting in my office and drinking it. It's just like a really nice feeling. So I was missing that for a while, but right around maybe 12 weeks, I was able to start drinking coffee again. So I'm back on the wagon. Also, I really like the smell of onions and like wanting to eat onions and everything, but every time I would eat onions, the taste of it after in my mouth would make me throw up. So I have officially stopped eating onions where I can like actually taste them. If they're cooked into something, it's not bad, I can do that. I also was able to eat a lot of fruit in the first trimester. My husband, again, like the greatest man on earth, would make me a bowl of fruit every morning. And so even if I wasn't able to eat anything throughout the day, I always had that like bowl of apples or like orange slices and stuff in the fridge for me. So I was able to just like munch on something a little bit. Also in the first trimester, I have been able to just smell everything, and it's rough. I don't like the fact that I can smell everything. And I can smell like little pieces of everything too. Like I can sit in my bed and smell 10 different smells going on in the entire house, just pieces of it. And it's only things that smell really bad that like I'll get a whiff of a diaper pail or something, you know, and that also just sets my stomach off. I hate the fact that I can smell everything, and I'm sure that one drives my husband crazy because I have him like literally searching for smells all over the house and I have no idea what they are. I also had my first ultrasound at 12 weeks, like had such a hard time finding a good spot to take a picture of it because it would like do somersaults and it would turn its back and it was just jumping all over the place. Super active baby. It must have been the iced coffee though. And finally it just settled down and she was like, oh, can you see that? I'm like, what? And I looked on the monitor and she's like, that's its thumb. It's sucking on its thumb. And that was like super emotional, obviously. It's so cute. So we don't actually find out what the gender is until my next ultrasound, which is week 19. That's in 2 weeks from now. So it'll probably take a few days after 19 weeks in order to find out if it's a boy or a girl. Like I said, I think it's a boy. And as soon as I realized that I thought it was a boy, I was like, oh, another girl would be so nice though. And then I would have all the clothes and, you know, I don't know. I thought Luna was a boy too, but here she is. Also, I will say that in my entire first trimester, because I was so sick the whole time, I only managed to gain 1.5 pounds, which was not great. My doctor wasn't thrilled about that, but again, she was like, as long as you're not losing weight and as long as you can still keep hydrated and drink water, then she's not gonna be completely worried about it. I did get a little more worried though, because I checked my weight again last week and I had lost another pound. I want to save for the second trimester video or for the next month's video, but I have still been really sick even after my first trimester ended. So I actually lost another pound, which means in almost 4.5 months of pregnancy, I've only gained 0.5 pound. So, and I've also noticed that like my sides have gone in quite a bit, and I don't know. I feel bad that maybe the baby's not getting everything it needs, but like I promise you guys, I eat when I can, what I can, and like most of the time it just ends up coming back out. So hopefully in the next couple weeks, my hormones will calm down and I won't feel as sick anymore. In my first pregnancy, I was sick until 5.5 months, which sucked. But after that, I gained weight like that. So I'm trying to keep my weight down. I got all the way up to 228 pounds when I was pregnant with Luna. So I don't want to go anything higher than that for this pregnancy. And then that way I hope when I'm breastfeeding that the weight will like fall off or something. I don't know. I don't know. So I also want to talk about sleep because again, with my first pregnancy and this pregnancy, I developed pregnancy insomnia quite early. And that one's really tough because you're so tired, but you just cannot fall asleep. And it's a very frustrating feeling. And it's extra frustrating knowing that at some point a little toddler is going to wake up and you're gonna have to like hit the ground running and for the rest of the day. So the insomnia definitely sucks. I was also having super vivid, like bad dreams. When I was pregnant with Luna, I had super vivid dreams that I could remember every morning, but they were like good dreams, like really good dreams. This time I'm having terrible dreams that are just like make no sense at all, and I still can remember them in the morning, but they're really like not good dreams. Not like nightmares, but like just bad things. And that also keeps me up at night, along with the news. Like I just have mad anxiety about the world, and so that keeps me up in itself. But then the pregnancy insomnia and the weird dreams, sleep has not been great. I am very thankful though, because Luna loves to sleep in, and most days she will sleep in till 9 or 10. Sometimes she sleeps in till 11. So I'm really lucky that like I don't have to be up super early, but I'm still not sleeping enough at all to to like function as a human, let alone take care of a toddler all day. Also, so I like to be in bed at 11 o'clock, whether I'm sleeping or not, which I'm never sleeping at 11 o'clock, but I like to be in my bed at 11 o'clock. And at that time is when I also start getting super hungry. Usually my husband will be out on the couch in the living room watching his shows because he doesn't like to go to bed as early as I do. And I will call him from the bedroom and tell him, I call it womb service. And I'll tell him just something random that I want from the fridge, and then he'll bring it to me because he's a saint, like I said. All right, guys, I hope I gave you all the information that you were looking for. I really hope this video wasn't too much all over the place. Like I said, I'm scatterbrained, the world is scatterbrained, everything is just scattered for me. I'm on day 9,746 of lockdown, and we just found out today that they're extending it for another 2 weeks. So 1 billion days inside, you know. Maybe I should show you guys the bump. Here is my 17-week bump. It is definitely bigger. Oh, I don't think I mentioned. So I started showing at 10 weeks, which is the same time that I started showing with Luna, but this time was like way bigger. Like it was like overnight, bam, there's a baby. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like I said, I will post another pregnancy update when I hit 5 months, so that's in 3 more weeks. I will only post pregnancy related videos on Fridays, so that way if you're not into this type of content, you can still have my normal content on Mondays. And then if you are into the pregnancy type stuff, that will be on Fridays, so you can miss that day if you're not into it. You guys can follow me over on Instagram at mrs.shelly.shush, and I will catch up with you on Monday in a new video. Bye.